Welcome back, people. Episode 116 of Fine Music is featuring our actual East Coast resident, Murray Thomas. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with a band that hopefully everyone has at least heard of, even if they may not really listen to them very much, and that is Public Image Limited.
Oh, yeah, sure.
The band that, obviously Johnny Rotten went back to being John Lydon and formed as another, follow-up on the Sex Pistols, and specifically their second album, which originally was called Metal Box because it was three 12-inch 45s released in a film can.
Wow.
That was the original format of it. And I think part of the idea of that was merely to make it real hard to get them out without damaging the records. I think that's what was going through John Lydon's mind. Because, okay, and so this, then it was released as two regular LPs, and then eventually made its way to a single CD. But the core of the band is, besides Lydon, is Jah Wobble on bass and Keith Levine on guitar. Keith Levine was thrown out of the early Clash for A, drug problems, and B, just being too weird for them. And he's, I believe he was totally self-taught on guitar because his guitar technique bears no resemblance to anything I've ever heard before. It's just sort of randomly picking out notes with as much distortion as possible. I saw them on this tour when this came out. In fact, where is it? I have the t-shirt.
Nice.
Hey!
There you go.
And you can see on the back there, first US stop. So I saw them on their very first US show. And about halfway through the show, I'm like, I think they're just trying to produce as obnoxious music as they can, because the Sex Pistols weren't obnoxious enough for Lydon. And now he's really trying to chase away everyone who might possibly listen to him. Except I actually found it fascinating, the balance between this really chaotic guitar and then Jah Wobble, the bass player, who I'm going to talk more about, who is kind of a reggae player and just had these really sinuous bass lines. In fact, halfway through the concert, Lydon and Levine both stalked off stage for some reason or other. And the bass player and the drummer just kept going for another like 10 minutes until they came back and never lost the crowd at all. So he's really an excellent bass player. And he since has put out a number of solo albums. He's really into the dub scene, but he's worked with Eno. He's worked with the band James, 90s alternative band, and then also has done work with Keith Levine. Okay. And then I think it's actually about a year ago, he decided to remix the Metal Box album as a dub album. The basic bass lines, and I'm pretty sure he actually re-recorded everything, because he obviously took out all of Lydon's vocals and substituted his own for probably copyright reasons, as well as I don't think the two of them get along these days. But I think it doesn't credit Levine, so I think he also re-recorded the guitar parts and all, but he took the basic songs and turned them into these heavy dub, lots of bass, lots of space. You know how dub music has got a lot of echo and a lot of quiet parts and a lot of reverb. So he actually, and it's probably in the end more listenable than the original version, even though, like I say, I love this version just because I like chaotic, distorted guitar work. But, and also, I mean, if you find anything, just put him in on YouTube, and there's dozens and dozens. He's been a very busy guy, actually, even though, being in the band with Lydon was probably the commercial high point of his career. But so I highly recommend, especially if you liked Public Image Limited, find this and check it out, because it's a very interesting take on it. there you go. I'm recommending Jah Wobble and especially Metal Box Rebuilt in Dub.
Do me a favor, hold up that Eno one again, because I don't think I've ever seen that.
Spinner, Jah Wobble and Eno. Very ambient, very, very spacey album.
Oh, wow.
How about that album?
Really?
I'm an ambient guy. Yeah. I didn't know he was part of Public Image.
Yeah. Well, he only lasted,
Yeah.
Jah Wobble only lasted 2 albums and Levine lasted 1 more. And then, like I say, I think I get the impression that John Lydon is not the easiest person to get along with.
Easy to believe.
And,
Although he had a single back. I remember in my youthful days, he had a single called "Let the Road Rise with You."
yeah, they actually in the mid '80s they did. He
Mhm.
put out I think it's just called Compact Disc, the Public Image that
Mhm.
was somewhat commercially successful and had
I bought that one.
got on at least like 90 ONX and K Rock and those stations.
I've always liked his version of My Way.
Yeah. Yep.
Keep my way.
Yeah.
Anger is an NRJ.
Yep.
And didn't he, like, in his old age, get on TV shows or something? Johnny Lydon, wasn't he? Like,
Oh
on
yeah,
TV
yeah.
shows?
He might have even he's been a presence on like talk shows, and he's turned
Mhm.
into a radical right wing.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. I think he's even a Trumper. I think.
I always wonder what people like that would do for a living if they weren't musicians, you know? Holy cow.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for music.
Yeah.
What an ending thought that is. This was episode 116. Public Image Limited and Jah Wobble. Check him out. Check him out. Thank you, Murray.
Okay.